Now, I want to address one thing that might be a little bit of a stretch for most of you who listen, and that is AI in the field of mental health, in the shape of something that could be called an AI therapist or an AI coach, at least. This is Connect the Dots, the AI Impact Podcast. I'm Christoph Burkhardt. Welcome to the show. And of course, you've seen many of those tools that start mentoring. You see tools, you see ChatGPT-based tools that start helping you work through a certain issue and then help you find a solution to a certain problem. But I think there is an opportunity now for something bigger. And I've been playing with some of these tools, and especially the tools that remember everything that you've told them, which is what we would expect from a therapist. And there's one interesting thing that happens after like 3 or 4 sessions. So this was a daily journal, and I was just explaining what I was thinking, and it asked me questions, one after the other. And after a while, I was done answering questions, and I said, like, okay, this is enough. And then it summarized everything we talked about. It asked whether this is correct, whether this is what I said, what I meant, which is great because the therapist does that too. And then it takes that, saves it for the next day to come back with a question about what we talked about in the last session. Now, of course, these sessions are not an hour long because you're talking to the machine, right? Also, they're daily, and they're just meant to set your day. So instead of thinking of that as a therapist, think of it as an augmentation to your therapist. So it helps you remember things that you agreed to yesterday. It reminds you of things that you've said. And it asks you like whether you've done them, if it was a plan, right? So I wanted to do this. Well, have you done it? And then it asks, why did you not do it? Or, what did you learn while you were doing it? So it helps you reflect better than you could do on your own, for sure. But it also gives you the opportunity to work through a process that ultimately I think will help your actual therapist figure out what's going on, because you are more reflective, you have more insight on what's going on. So if you think about this AI system as a coach that complements the therapist, then you find one other thing that I found fascinating, and that is that after 2 or 3 sessions, you realize, yes, you're not talking to a human being. That's clear. That is clear from the beginning, but since you're so human-like, you also treat them very human-like. But after 3 or 4 days, you start looking at them as a tool that helps you figure things out on your own. And it's a very powerful tool, and it's a very helpful tool, but it's a tool. And then you realize, this is not a replacement for my therapist or coach. This is a replacement for something else. This is basically the best journal I've ever had, because it's a journal that doesn't ask me the same question every day, or it's a completely empty blank page every day where I just write down random things that come to mind. It is a journal that remembers everything I've said and asks me the follow-up question that is really targeted, a follow-up question that is really smart. They're still open. I can still write whatever I want. I can talk into it, whatever I want, but they're specifically made to tailor to your needs by remembering everything you said. And what I noticed after 3 or 4 days is that you stop shifting from I'm talking to something that's supposed to mimic a human to this is a completely new tool that could help me become way better at being in therapy. So mental health wise, I think there's a powerful moment where you realize that the moment it becomes a tool, you also open up. So I noticed this with myself. I am way more honest than I was with my therapist after 3 sessions, right? So I'm giving way more details about how I'm really thinking, how I really feel, and what I really did last week, because the AI tool should know to save that in the memory, to ask me better questions, and the questions go deeper and deeper and deeper. And actually the button in the tool, not only does it say like, do you want another question? It's just like, go deeper, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper until you're done, until you're like, okay, that's deep enough. And then there's a summary. But the more honest you are, obviously, with the tool, the more interesting the result becomes that you then take to your therapist or coach. And obviously, the same thing works for your business. So If I think about my clients in business coaching and how they go through processes, there's a lot that they don't tell me in the beginning that comes out over time. And it's not often, not often. It's not because they don't want to tell me, and it's there's too much shame or embarrassment. It's because they don't know that the thing that matters, that is what holds them back. That's what stops business growth or their innovativeness and their innovation potential. That's what's the obstacle that keeps them from hiring the best talent in the market, right? So to find those things, you need something that guides your reflection process. And I love that we have this now. And it is a powerful tool to augment the work of a coach. And I want all my clients to use a tool like this, to come to the next session with me and have insights and questions and new topics and new areas that we have overlooked so far. They come out of that because we are more honest with the tool. And then there's still a filter mechanism where we say, oh, yes, I set that to the tool, but I'm not going to take that to my coach, whether that's business or therapy. I'm not ready to share that with the therapist or coach. But I know that it's in the tool now. And so the tool will remember, and the tool will come back to that. And at some point I might be ready, or it's not even necessary to go there. But interestingly, there's a process that the tool can do that the coach can't. And there's a process that the coach can help with that the tool can't, obviously. So think of it, even in the mental health space, never think of it as a replacement. Always think of the augmentation and how this can make the results of a coaching or of a therapist process way more effective and more helpful to our needs.